my beautiful Globetrotters. Is everyone ready to talk Scotland? All time, one of my most favorite destinations to ride, and all of our rides we have curated, created from scratch, which is pretty amazing. Sometimes we're told that our Scottish rides, there's so many of them, and which one would suit you personally based on your riding ability, your budget. So I'm going to jump in and be able to give you a really good insight into the difference between them and which one hopefully will suit you. So when you finish today, hopefully you'll have an understanding of which ride is speaking to you, which one is giving you those spine tingles so that you can, join on it for 2026, which is super exciting. All right, is everyone ready to dive in? Let's do it. I'm going to share my screen, and Rowie has put together the coolest presentation of our Scottish rides. I would try and do an accent, but I'm not going to do that because my Scottish accent's really bad. So why ride in Scotland? So obviously the first and foremost is the horses. We have the most incredible horses. We partner with Susie from Kaylee Equestrian. A lot of you who have ridden in Scotland already will know her. She has Irish sport and Irish draft horses, and she has an innate ability to choose the best horses. And she has probably 40 to 50 in her yard. Just so you know, they are big horses. She does have some Irish cobs, but generally her horses sit at around 16 plus hands, but they're gentle giants. I can't tell you their temperament, and their level-headedness, which I'll talk about more, is astounding. Historic accommodations. So we have henpecked the best accommodations on all of the rides that we offer, and I will also go into that. Cultural immersion. A lot of you probably have heritage. A lot of our clients choose Scotland because their ancestors came from Scotland. So it's a really wonderful way, to connect with your lineage. And the scenery is breathtaking. We've got rides closer to Edinburgh in the Borders area, and then we have rides up near Inverness as well. So to be fair, the scenery is captivating and changes constantly. Are there rides for all abilities? Absolutely, yes, there is. And we've specifically, a tag phrase here in Globetrotting is that every rider belongs, and we truly adhere to that. So we have rides for a beginner to advanced. But I will say there's a massive caveat to that. You must be confident and capable riding in an English saddle. There are no Western saddles. They're all English. Capable at a walk, rising trot, and learning to canter. So to be able to, a requirement for any of the rides that I'll speak to you today is that apart from one, you have to be confident in an English saddle, and you can prep for that, at home to be able to get used to riding in an English saddle, because there's a big difference. What about the weather? This is my favorite quote that Rowie put in. There's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothing. So get yourself a sexy raincoat and live a little. That's from Billy Connolly. But it's true. It's all about layers. There is no camping in any of our rides. So if the weather does, turn wet and cold, you will be returning to a hot shower, a whiskey beside the fire. And it's kind of fun, and you feel alive when you ride through, that weather, and then come back and cocoon on a couch and, have a whiskey or a nice red wine. All right, let's get started. The Scottish Borders ride was our first ride that we ever put road tested. I was very fortunate to meet Susie, our ride partner, when we were road testing rides back in 2018. And I got to do the Scottish Borders ride, which is a 16th century tradition where the Scots used to ride the moors to protect the boundaries from the English. Now, this is one of the most amazing horse cultural experiences you'll ever do. You'll be riding with probably 200 to 300 other riders, 2 days as a part of your 7-day itinerary. It is fast. It is furious. It's a lot to ride with that amount of people. You have to have peripheral vision. You have to be, and I will stress this quite hard, you have to be a strong intermediate to advanced rider. You have to be able to gallop downhill. So you have to have a very independent seat. You're staying at Cringlety House, which is a beautiful manor house in Scotland. And we have rides from May through to September. And I'm going to put the conversion rates here. So it's 3,800 pounds, which is around 7,700 Aussie dollars or 5,000 US. Now, this is the common riding. So as part of the 7-day ride, 2 days you will be common riding, where you get dressed up in your tweed, your stock, you have your hip flask full of whiskey or port, which I did. And they're the big days of in the saddle, like 6 hours. You start sort of later in the day, and they're big, wonderful, exhilarating days. And you ride through the tiny little border towns, and everyone, as you can see in this photo, are lining the streets, and you feel part of something unbelievable. I cannot stress, if you are a strong intermediate to advanced rider, so you know, are a competitive rider, you show jump or you event or you do those things, this is the ride for you. This is in my top 5 rides. You feel part of something absolutely amazing. And when, you know, the Scottish folk that you're riding with realize that you're from Australia or America, they just embrace you. Like, it is, and Susie's horses are so level-headed. Like, it's just a phenomenal ride. I mean, this is the accommodation you'll be staying at. And the days that you're not doing the common riding, you have a day riding on the beach, which is beautiful. And then you ride up on the moors as well. So the days that you're not on the common rides, there's probably less hours in the saddle, which is great, because those days that are common riding are big days. Like, they're pretty exhausting. Yeah, and you can go whiskey tasting. This is awesome. A lot of our Scottish rides are awesome for non-riders as well. So we do have availability on these departures. Awesome to do with friends. Yeah, the accommodation is great. There are no, you'll have to self-drive. So I know that some people get uneasy about driving on the other side of the road, but we will connect you with other Globetrotters that are booked on that same departure, and you can car share as well. So as I said, May to September, we have a looking at the borders. There is a riding of the marches, which you go into Edinburgh. That was the one I did, one of the ones I did, and ride up the Royal Mile, which is, again, unbelievable. To be able to get a ticket and ride in these festivals is nothing short of amazing. Yeah, so I won't stress that anymore. The Thirlestane Castle ride. You guys love castles. Everyone wants to stay in a castle. This is also same horses, Susie's beautiful horses. I love this one because it's a range of ability. So confident beginner to advanced. If you have a friend that's more of a beginner and you're an advanced rider, or vice versa, this ride is for you. This is the Thirlestane Castle in the background where you will be staying for 6 nights, and it is beautiful. It's been renovated. Edward and Sarah that run it are the most beautiful, you know, generational Scottish family that you could ever stay at, and they really make you feel part of their family. And then each day, this is what we call a centre-based ride or a castle-based ride. You ride out in a different area as a cloverleaf each day. And Susie will split the groups as well, which I also love. So if there are beginner riders, you'll be able to ride at your pace. And then our advanced riders will still be able to have what Gemma calls a wee canter, which is really like a gallop. Beautiful scenery, changing scenery. And then again, the off the horse comforts are remarkable. We have March, April, August, October, November departures every year. We're sold out until November. Yes, it's in, you know, the cusp of winter, but it is still, you know, absolutely wonderful riding at that time of year. I mean, look at the state dining room. It is the castle. You get a castle tour as well, but the history is absolutely amazing. And yeah, I think it just has the perfect blend of riding and non-riding as well. Again, you have to be confident riding in an English saddle. When you're not in the saddle, there's beautiful little border towns that you can explore and visit, which I absolutely love, because Scotland's just so easy to get around. Like, it's just, and then you also ride on the beach, which is another highlight. It's the same beach that you ride on for the Borders ride, and it's just so much fun. I mean, who doesn't want to ride on a beach in Scotland? November 2026, we still have spots available. So if that's, you know, we do our 10 by 10% payment plan. It's very easy to set and forget if that's a ride that's calling you. It's also in the Borders area, so closer to Edinburgh. You can take the train to Edinburgh, very easy. I love this ride. So we created this ride for anyone that's really haven't had the ability to learn to ride English. So it's Susie's Horses, and then you're staying at Cringlety House, which is the same accommodation that you stay with on the Borders ride. And it is absolutely wonderful for customized departure dates. So if you don't have much time, say you're going to Scotland or England for work and you just want to squeeze in a ride, we would organise accommodation at Cringlety, and then Susie would take you out 3 days, 4 days. There's lessons involved if you want. And it's priced from, for US 1,850. Yeah, and it is very customized. So it's like build your own adventure. And then you would be able to really get a hang of Susie's Horses, ride English if that's what you're wanting to upskill. And then that would give you, the tick of approval then to go and book any of these other longer format rides, which I think is really great. Yeah. So, I mean, that's Cringlety House, isn't it? Just beautiful. It's like you're in a fairy tale when you go to Scotland. I mean, daffodils grow wild. I mean, for an Australian, that's pretty amazing. And as I said, perfect for Western riders wanting to learn English, and also specific timeframes if you have. Again, it's very customizable, which is a crowd favorite for a lot of our Globetrotters. December to April, and then September to December, and you can do a minimum of 3 nights, which is really cool. Awesome for non-riders as well. So if you're going to Scotland with a non-riding partner, they can go whiskey touring, you can go riding, and then meet up for lunch somewhere in the Borders. The Scottish Highlands ride, so this is further up in the Highlands of Scotland, obviously, hence the name. It's also perfect for confident beginner to advanced riders. They split the group. 7 days, 6 nights. We like the longer format. If you're going all the way to Scotland, we really want you to sink your teeth into the beauty, wildness of Scotland. And there's just so many bridle paths to explore. You'd be remiss to only spend, 3 or 4 days there. You're staying at Blair Atoll Estate, which used to be home to the horse trials, and it is 7 day, 6 night. We have April to May and August to October. You can see on the screen the price. You ride through the Cairngorms National Park, so through sheep and Highland coos, and it is like you have your own private chef the whole time. Rebecca, I sampled her food just to make sure that it was good. Amazing. They've just actually painted the house, the butter yellow house, Tullamet House that you stay in. There are 3 tiers of accommodation here, which is kind of cool. So if you are on a budget, you can stay in the top part of the house, with shared bathrooms, or then the middle level of the house is more deluxe accommodation, but it's just really flexible. And there's a sauna. The Yvonne who looks after you in the house is just feels like your Scottish mother. I was going to say grandmother, but she wouldn't like me saying that. But again, they split the group, so it's good for beginners who are confident riding in English saddles to our more advanced riders that want to have a pelt along the moorlands. It's, amazing. And you get to ride where the horse trials were at Blair Castle, which is just beautiful. I mean, these type of horses, this is what you're riding. They are beautifully turned out horses. I would be happy to have any of them in my paddock at home. There are only limited spots on the Scottish Highlands ride for 2026. So again, our team can put it in the chat, but you can also see it on the website, what is available. Please know that you don't have to try and convince a friend to go with you. The majority of our Globetrotters, 99% of them travel by themselves. It is a thing. So you really do connect with like-minded people cut from the same cloth who love riding horses and love traveling. And those two loves combined are just attracts like. You have the most wonderful connections with other people that have chosen this type of travel. The Scottish Jewels, a really exciting itinerary that we launched only probably 4 months ago. And that's also in the Highlands near Inverness, and it is in summer of Scotland. So it coincides at the same time that the Borders ride, and we wanted to choose this one specifically because it is for those beginners that couldn't ride in Scotland in summer, we created the Scottish Jewel. And it's 7 days, 7 nights. You have a day off in the middle of this itinerary. So it's a non-riding day where you do a lot of sightseeing, which I think is really fun. Like we try and combine, you know, the rhythm of an itinerary where you've got just the right amount of riding, just the right amount of downtime, and then also exploring the region as well. So you really feel like you've like lifted the lid of that area, which I love. That's July to August. It's in a beautiful traditional country house. Hamish, who is the host there, is a lovely man that will come and eat with you. That's what we also really love, is we love to get, you know, locals in from the area that will, you know, sit and have dinner with you or drinks, you know, in the courtyard, so that you really feel like you're part of that area and the history. And that's exactly what lights me up. And I think it lights you guys up too, hence why we always, you know, put that in the itineraries. Less time in the saddle. So you're probably riding between 3 to 4 hours a day, and there'll be a lot of awesome off the horse activities. Like I think there's archery, clay pigeon shooting, like heaps of cool things. Great for non-riders. Like if you feel guilty not taking a partner, you can take them, because non-riders are very much welcome here. Full house party vibes. And again, your own private chef. I know how much you guys love really good food. So all of these itineraries, it's a given that the food is excellent. Beginner to advanced riders, again, lovers of whiskey and history. And yeah, just it's sold out, sadly. Sorry, guys. It's sold out for 2026. It was a huge favorite for all of our Globetrotters, I think also because it does mix those abilities and it's in the summertime. And we will be launching 2027 dates really soon. So cheat sheet, you ready? So strong, intermediate, advanced riders seeking a full-on challenge, wanting to be part of a historic horse event, the Borders riding. You must pick the Scottish Borders ride. I can't tell you, that is where you have to like have laser vision for. That is the best ride in Scotland if you're of that ability. 5-star luxury and history for beginner to advanced riders. Perfect time of year, November to go, is the Thirlestane Castle ride. That, you know, it's a tickety tick. If you're the adventure and dramatic scenery of the Highlands and being up in that region, the Scottish Highlands ride is, you know, a must. Also similar time and similar abilities as well. And then the Scottish Jewel, that is like summertime, perfect for beginner to advanced, and yeah, history and a lot of fun in a really cool manor house. And then if you're wanting to upskill, I can't tell you how good the Borders Riding Academy is. And also if you have like specific dates or specific amount of time that you can take off, that is the ride that I would also be like looking into. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and go back to you guys. If I can do that. And then we can start asking any questions. Whoa, the chat is blown up. Cool. Okay, let me see. Shirley, please offer a point-to-point ride for older people who would be happy to do 5 to 6 hours per day, for well-experienced retired riders who are not able to often have the skills but not the stamina. Absolutely, Shirley. Point-to-point rides are my favorite. And if people don't know what that means, it's like when you're riding to A to B. We've tried to find them in Scotland. It's very hard because of obviously private estates and getting permission to ride from, you know, one location to the next. And then also finding the accommodation at that point, you know, day 2, and then another accommodation on day 3. But know that Susie, who is our horse ride partner, has a truck, and a lot of the horses you're trucked and you're going to a new destination. So you're not riding across the same country every day, because that's a real bugbear for me. You're riding change of scenery constantly. So yeah, but we do have point-to-point rides, you know, in other countries as well, if that helps. And, you know, we can definitely recommend some offline. And yes, so the Borders Riding Academy is perfect if you're wanting to upskill and just like get a test and see if, you know, English riding's for you, Susie's horses are for you, then book the Borders Riding Academy and we can talk custom dates. Yep, we can recommend car companies. We literally, Amy, can hold your hand from start to finish. Look at you all in here. Borders Riding Academy is Peebles. So it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Edinburgh. So you'd fly into Edinburgh and then you would, like you can even get an Uber to Cringletea, but you will have to. So Cringletea and Susie's stables are probably 20 minutes. So you will need a hire car to get to the stables each day. And also you want a hire car because once you finish riding, you want to explore the area. There's so much to do. Like in another life, I want to live in Peebles in Scotland. It is beautiful. And I know it sounds scary driving on the other side of the road, but it's also really empowering and you will be okay. We're thinking of buying a minibus, guys, so that we can have a minibus in Scotland so that you don't have to hire cars. Yeah, I think that the hire cars, though, hello, what is self-driving? Oh, sorry, Sylvia. Self-driving is like that. It's you. There's no transfer, so you have to drive yourself. Or carpool. I don't know if you guys that expression. So we would connect you with other Globetrotters booked on the ride, and you would hire a car together and share the cost. Oops, some more in the Q&A. So Sheila, so weather in November, December, it is like it's winter in Scotland. We don't have a right, but November, but I think I said at the start, we would be all about layers. So I've ridden in November in Scotland. It's cold. It can be wet, but it's still, there's some romanticism about that. It's really beautiful. And as I said, you're going home to a luxurious suite where you can get warm again, have a hot shower, dry your clothes, and then, sit and relax like you've done something for the day. I don't know. I love riding in winter as well as summer. Like it doesn't bother me in the slightest. We would help you with what gear to take. It's all about layers, dressing like an onion. Yep, that is what whiskey is for. Like it's definitely a personal preference. If you don't want to ride in winter, then then choose some of the rides more closer to summer, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Do your own research on the weather. As you know, weather's changeable. We can't control it, but it's totally up to you. And you could ride in November and it could be beautiful weather, but be prepared for all seasons. Lindley, for 2027, no, that's fine. A group of 4, like there's 10 guests per departure. So that should be fine. So definitely waitlist yourself. So on the website, for the Scottish Jewel and any of the rides that are sold out, just put yourself on a wait list and you actually the tip of the day, you get notified before anyone else of those new departure dates. So an automated email will get sent and said, we've just released the new dates. Do you want to book? So that's just a bit of, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This is such a good question. Is it possible to reach strong intermediate level through GT ride vacations? I'm not in a rush, but my goal is to do Scottish Common Dry confidently and not feel scared. 100%. If that is your like big, hairy, audacious goal to do the common rides, and you're a beginner and you want to get to strong intermediate, absolutely. And what I would do is I would henpeck all of the English rides. So our rides in England, the Cotswold ride is a really good place to start. Also, any of Susie's rides that are beginner. You get used to Susie and her horses, and then you get used to English saddles. And then, I've seen very often a beginner rider go to an intermediate rider over 5 days because it's an immersive experience. You're upskilling every day and getting more confident rather than having a 2-hour lesson every week ad hoc in an arena. You're out in the moors, you're riding as a beginner, you get more confident. I hope one of our clients, she was a beginner rider and she's done all of our strong intermediate rides now. And she's pretty close to being ready for the Borders ride. So I love that. Yeah. So yeah. And like, if you are wanting to tackle English riding, for sure, I think that there would be, you guys call them barns around your area that will be able to help you start getting confident in an English saddle, for sure. Or go to the Borders Riding Academy. The other really good one actually to go off piste of Scotland is our Castle and Estate ride in Ireland. Very well priced. It's educational. you're riding in English saddles, it is perfect to upskill into, riding English. So I would, if you can't get into the Borders Riding Academy, I would definitely look at that ride as well. We're actually also, fun fact, just because you guys are here and I'm chatting away, is we're looking at a ride in America, in Georgia, that's going to do English riding as well to learn, and with education as well for 5 days. So that's exciting. Hey, Laurie. Yeah, cool. That's a really good question. So the 10 by 10% payment plan, so you put your 10% down. We recommend, as soon as you put your deposit down, to get your travel insurance. And we have recommendations of travel insurance companies based in the US or Canada or wherever you're tuning in from. I would get your insurance at the same time as your deposit, because if you have to cancel based on sickness or, I don't know, anything that untoward that you haven't planned, your travel insurance will kick in, and you can get travel insurance as soon as you've booked your trip. Unlike flights, I think flights don't open till 12 months before departure. Okay, Tanya, I started as a Western rider 20 years and now ride dressage. As long as you're willing to change your underwear and not ride in jeans, you'll be fine. And obviously put in time and absolutely into English saddle. I agree, Tanya, really beautiful advice. It's just different, but it's not something that you can't master. And obviously with the canter, we do 2-point for your cantering. So you're out of the saddle in the English saddle. At first, when you're in Western, to English, you feel like there's nothing in front of you, but you eventually get a really good balance. And to be fit off horse as well is so important. We're going to do a fitness app as well, like how to get fit for globetrotting. It's all happening. So another question, if I began English riding lessons soon, would it be reasonable to be a confident beginner by April Highlands ride? Yeah, I reckon. Where are we? November? If you immerse yourself, for sure, and you've got a good coach, absolutely. And I think that, you need to learn to post to the trot. It depends how balanced you are, but why not? Yeah, no, I think that's definitely an achievable goal. 100%. Do it. So exciting, guys. Scotland. Yes, it is. It is much easier to go from English to Western, for sure. But that's okay. Riding English, is, we've got definitely the rides where you can upskill for sure, or do it at home can you just do hacking if you have time constraints and already confident English rider? Yes, the Borders Riding Academy, you can just do hacking. You don't have to choose your lesson at all. Plan, you can just ride out. Hey, Krista, I'm a Western rider and started English lessons in prep for the Highlands ride. The first day kicks your ass because you use different muscles. It comes up quickly. Yeah, I love that, guys. This is so cool. Nicole, I'm excited too. On days off, if you want to stay at the site or accommodation, yes, of course. You can stay and read a book. You can, yes. It's just dreamy. I can't tell you how dreamy. I went for long walks. The Highlands ride, they have these amazing walks that and they have an app and you can just walk like so much goodness. And then you can just have, pots of tea and do nothing and journal and all of that. There's a sauna, you can do so much. There's no jumping, Lisa, in the Scottish Borders ride. I think that's a misconception, but which sucks, but there's no jumping, but it's fast. If you're an adrenaline seeker, you will get the adrenaline from riding with heaps of people and just flat out gallops. When I did it, I rode on the wing and at the front. When I say wing, there's 300 riders. I position myself in case, people fall off or anything like that, or just don't like being caught up in a crowd. So I used to just ride on the side and sit at the front, and it was perfect. And all of Susie's horses have brakes as well. You'd see the thoroughbreds literally off their head because they're, wonderful, octane high thoroughbreds. But Susie's horses, Irish Sport, Irish Draft horses, are so level-headed. So when you have to go through a gate and everyone walks and you go through the gate, Susie's horses just walk through. Susie's horse is so good and I think that at 8, she sells them to the police, the mounted police, because they are so desensitized and so beautiful. At first, it's like getting on a ladder to get up to the horse because they're that big. So that can be quite daunting for like quarter horse riders and things like that. And that, you know, it's a misconception. The bigger the horse, the scarier the horse. It's actually, you know, they're not. They're just beautiful. Yeah, oh my God, so true, Amy. Cross country in Tipperary is perfect for jumping if you want to do cross country jumping. Yeah, Nicole, that's fine. You can definitely book a date. And if you need to change on to the same ride, there's no amendment fee. If you need to change to a different ride, there is an amendment fee. But that's absolutely fine. Sometimes it's just good to mark something in the calendar because then you're just constantly putting it off. And I think that's all, unless anyone had any other questions. Oh, Laurie, if you had to choose 2 Scottish rides, what would it be? Well, I have a very distinct taste and I am an adrenaline junkie. So I would choose the Borders ride, the Scottish Borders ride. And I would probably choose like the Highlands ride, just because I love that time of year in Scotland. And yeah. All right, I've got to feed horses. All my horses will come up. See you guys. Lots of love, and we'll see you for the next webinar, maybe in Argentina.